Checking on Facebook. Still waiting. Hello, everybody. Christina Previtt here. I'm just checking. Excellent. I'm on for both. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the PT on Ice Daily Show. My name is Christina Previtt. I am one of two lead faculty for modern management of the older adult curriculum. We have 3 courses that we offer. We have our Essential Foundations 8-week online course. Hi, Jeff. That actually just sold out for our next cohort. So if you're looking to jump in, you're going to be looking into June. We have our 8-week online course, Advanced Concepts, which the next cohort is in October. And we have our live course. So we have a whole bunch of courses. I'm in Arizona next in June, pending that my visa screen goes through. Let me tell you, it's been a process. But I'm so excited to get back on the road, and hopefully that'll all be processed soon. Yesterday, I had the amazing opportunity to talk to over 100 PTs in the Texas area talking about One Rep Max Living. So thank you so much to the Texas PTA for allowing me to talk with you all and get all fired up to just make it hard for me to go to sleep because I was so excited after our chat yesterday. Okay, today what I wanted to talk to you about was a little bit less around the research and a little bit more about the art of PT. And this came up because I've been seeing a lot of individuals, and some of it's for marketing, and I'll kind of explain, who have not been using patient-first language. And I want to explain why I think this could be potentially dangerous for some of our older adults, especially. Well, it's dangerous for everyone, but we're going to talk about older adults in particular. When we talk about patient-first language, we talk about how a person is who we are treating, and their pathology is a characteristic of them. It is not a component of their identity. And what do I mean by that? I am seeing a person with diabetes. I am not seeing a diabetic. I am seeing a person with heart conditions, not a cardiac patient. I am seeing a person who has had a knee replacement, not a knee replacement today, or even worse, a right knee. And as PTs, especially when we're talking to each other, sometimes we can forget to do that. And we can talk about when we're interacting with each other. I saw 3 rotator cuffs today and a knee arthritis. I saw 3 diabetics and 6 cardiac patients in the span of a day. And that you can sometimes think, and I know a lot of PTs will say, well, that's just when I'm talking to my colleagues. But when you get into the habit of referring to people as their conditions, you inevitably will forget to not speak in those ways in front of a client. And so it's a bad habit that we can get into because it can give us that distance from the fact that we need to really be thinking about and treating the entire person. And when we think about this in regards to our clients, if you've been following us on the Jerry on Ice segment, we've talked a lot about something called pre-traumatic stress disorder. And what we mean by that is that over time, when we start saying, oh, you shouldn't do this, oh, you're this age, you shouldn't do that, it's a form of ageism where we're looking at the age of a person, their birth certificate date, instead of their actual functional assessment when we're making recommendations about a person's capacity. And this is kind of an extension of that, where eventually over time with these individuals with pre-traumatic stress disorder, they start to believe that they do not have the capacity to do things, or they have this fear that slowly creeps in over years and years and decades, and it creates an issue where we are now seeing individuals who, when we give them a 10-pound weight, they're afraid that they're going to have a fragility fracture because they were told that they have osteoporosis and they shouldn't be lifting weights. Or they were told by their primary care physician that they're 90 years old and therefore shouldn't be doing yoga with weights, should just be doing walking or aerobic activity. And when we when we think about this as an extension, eventually when people get told that they're a diabetic, they're a diabetic, they're a diabetic, these things, instead of being a issue that they are dealing with, it slowly becomes a part of their identity. And when I take a step back and I think about my own identity, I love identifying as a mom, as an educator, as maybe a content creator. I would love to say that I'm an influencer in the geriatric space. I don't know if I'd go that far. I am a weightlifter. I am a wife. I am a sister. I am not a person. I am not stress incontinence. I've experienced stress incontinence in the past. I am not a shoulder injury. That does not make up a segment of my pie of who I am. And I'm very proud of that. And it is something that I have gone through, but it is not a part of my identity. What I'm seeing in a lot of my older adult clients is that these pathologies are becoming a piece of the pie that I want to be filled with wife, caregiver, lover, brother, sister, grandparent. And instead, a piece of that cognitive loading as a part of their identity is cardiac patient or cancer patient or chronic knee pain. And when we do that, we have to think subtly that it is going to lead to, decreases in quality of life. Because if we are taking these pathologies and placing them into our identity pie, then instead of focusing on some of these good things and reframing some of these pathologies in terms of prevention, maintenance, and capacity in so many ways, we see it on the flip side, and we see it as a negative, where we now can no longer really move with reckless abandon with our grandkids because we have bone-on-bone arthritis, and that's a part of who we are. And so we have to change the way that we want to do things, our capacity, our roles, our day-to-day activities, because this is a part of my identity. I am holding on to the fact that this is part of my identity, and I don't want to let that go. And sometimes this can happen very naturally. I'm not saying that if we call a person a knee patient, that it'll automatically uptake in their identity. But I think by extension, we're starting to see that the language that we use in our healthcare system, and we're seeing more and more literature come up about how influential this can be a part of that, or be a way that this starts to slowly creep into a person's identity, and their disability becomes a part of who they are as a person. And when you're treating a client who really has that as a part of who they are as a person, you're in a more difficult situation from a care perspective as well, because you're starting to see that these individuals, they are so set that this is going to be the way that they are forever, that when you try and say, this doesn't have to be the way that it needs to be, those beliefs and expectations, Justin Dunaway quote, are the framework in which outcomes are assessed. And so we know that we might be having a little bit more of an upwards battle or trajectory with these individuals, because they truly believe that this is a part of who they are now, and that this is never going to go away. And of course, in some situations, like with chronic conditions like cancer, we may have those relapses that occur, or, this is where we have individuals with heart disease that we're going to have to make those considerations. But I want to focus on how we can make them live their best life as a grandparent, considering that they are a person that is living with cardiovascular issues, rather than they're a cardiac patient who wants to be a grandparent. And you may think that is maybe a slightly nuanced approach, but the more and more I'm seeing this, and I'm seeing it online, and I just think, if you are a PT who is posting online about cancer patients on your business page, and you are expecting or hoping, I would hope, unless you're B2B like I am, where I am talking to other clinicians because I teach other clinicians, you are hoping on your business page that you are going to be talking to your end user, your client. So you are already starting this relationship online, which may take 6 or 8 months before they see you in person, because people tend to kind of creep for a long period of time. And then when they need you, they come and see you. But you're instilling that language really early on. And so I even think, we have to be careful about our written words as well. And the reason why this topic came up was I have been seeing a lot of people who are trying to post on their stories to see or to show people who are watching that they have a wide skill set and they see a wide variety of people in a day. And so they'll do things like on their stories say, well, today my caseload looked like a prolapse, a rotator cuff tendinopathy, a post-op total knee. And instead of saying as a header, today I saw a patient who was experiencing a prolapse, was experiencing this, and this. That slight nuance in language, they just identified who an individual was. And you can do a very quick switch. And from a marketing or perception, it's a nuance, but it's very, very important, I think, in order for us to really be thinking about what we're doing as clinicians. And so even in our written word, I think it's so, so important for us to be thinking about using patient first language. I know sometimes with captions, it can be a bit more challenging because sometimes we're constrained and it takes longer. But I think it's just so important for us to figure out those nuances. I have somebody who's asking me about being a PT in Europe. I'm in Canada, so I have no insights into that absolutely at all. So I am not the person who is the authority on anything related to that. But I think that's kind of where I wanted to conclude for today. So my challenge for you all today is to really listen to conversations that you're having, reflecting on if this is something that happens to you, or that everyone's going to have slips. This isn't a bad thing. It's more just reflecting on our own practices and trying to make those changes. I encourage you to, listen in your multidisciplinary teams, in your interactions with other clinicians, to watch your social media consumption and see if there's other PTs. I think it's just so important because we do not want these pathologies to become a part of our client's identity. We want us to help them move through some of these issues so that they can fully actualize their identity of being parents, grandparents, weightlifters, athletes, tradesmen, whatever that part of life may be. And we just need to start thinking about our communication style. So I hope you all found that helpful. I am definitely not perfect, but I definitely am trying to really train myself to be thinking about the person first. If you guys have any thoughts or you have anything that you think about when you're in your practice settings, I would love for you to comment below with your own experiences. If you are interested in seeing MMOA live, our next course is in Phoenix, Arizona in June, which is super, super exciting. We can't wait to have you all. And our next online cohort for Essential Foundations, April 28th is sold out. So if you are looking to jump in, we have a good amount of individuals already enrolled in our June course. So we are looking forward to seeing you all there. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everybody, and I will see you all in a couple of weeks.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.